Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Scrabble P by Palfly Kampling. All right, let's go over the rules to this one. This is a split P line, which I have not seen before. I don't know if Palfly invented it or if I just haven't seen it before. Both are possible. But yeah, let's go over the rules. We have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. So in each row, each column, and each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. Let's save the split P for last. We also have these maximum cells. These are pretty straightforward. This cell is just bigger than all of its neighbors, the touching neighbors that share an edge. So if this is, say, I don't know, if this is, say, a 5, then that means that all of these have to be smaller than 5. We could do 4, 3, and 3 if we wanted to. They just have to all be smaller than 5. All right. And then we have these split P lines. So you can kind of think of them as quasi between lines, quasi double arrows, if you know what those are. But basically closer to double arrow, but not quite. So we're going to take the sum of 3 digits. We're going to take the sum of the digits on the line, and they're going to be connected to 2 circles. We need to interpret these 2 circles as a base 10 representation of that sum. So I'm going to use the example here, but it doesn't actually work on this grid. And I guess that's probably a good thing, so we don't give away anything. But 3, 4, and 6, if you sum that up, that sums to 13. So then we could fill 13 in some order in these 2 cells. Now, obviously that doesn't work because we repeat the 3. But let's say that, this circle were not sharing the column. Like if the circle were moved over to here, then that would, I guess, forget it. If this circle were moved here and we did the 3, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is that this can be read as 13 and this sum is 13. So one of them is the tens digit, and it's up to you to determine which one is the tens digit. And I'm guessing that this is a completely separate line. So just because we used this as the tens digit and this is the ones digit, this could be the tens digit for this one. So just individually on each line, you just have to be able to read it in one way or the other. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. You're just reading it as a 2-digit number, but you don't know which one's the 10 and which one's the 1, and it can be different for each one. Just treat these as 2 overlapping, two separate split P lines that happen to overlap at a circle. All right, that is it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. Okay, let's think a little bit about these maximum cells. Maybe there's something going on with them, but then we definitely have to pay attention probably to this column. So you can never put a 1, definitely can't ever put a 1 in any of these cells. 2 is difficult as well. So like if this was 2, then all of these would have to be 1, and those will clash. So it's not a 2. A 3 is not possible because there's a 3 in the row. So this is definitely 4, 5, 6, and I don't see why 4 wouldn't be possible. We could do like 1, 2, and 1 or something. All right, now this one here, it has to be bigger than 3. So it's 4, 5, 6 because the 3's next to it. This one here just has to be bigger than these 2 cells. So it could be a 3. 3 seems somewhat unreasonable, and that these would all be 1, 2s, but it's not impossible. We don't eliminate based on unreasonability. We eliminate based on impossibility. And this one just is bigger than 3 cells. So this could be 1, 2, 3. And that would make this at least 4. So the only one that can be 3 is this one. The others are bigger than 3. All right. So 6 in this box is also one of these. We should keep that in mind, maybe. Because we can't put a 6 in any of these cells. All right. Well, let's think about this line here, this vertical. I bet you there's only one way to resolve it, but we'll see. So the first thing we want to think about is the tens digit. Can we actually add to 20? Well, there's a really easy way to tell. The entire column is going to add to 21 because 1 through 6, if you add them up, you get 21. And so in order for these 3 to add to 20, these 3 would have to add to 1. And that's not happening. So our tens digit is a 1, meaning there's a 1 in one of these 2 cells somewhere. We don't know. I'm going to use the corner mark and try to trust myself that I'm using it irregularly. So this adds to somewhere between 12 and 16, right? Because that's what we can get out of these digits. The other digit can be 2 through 6, right? So 12 through 16 in 3 digits. Well, we can't do 16 because 4, 5, 6 is the max we can do, and that's 15. So these definitely have a 1, and then they go up to 15, meaning they don't have a 6. Now, What happens if I omit the 6? Then we would be 3, 4, 5 at our maximum, which is 12. So we could do 3, 4, 5 with a 1, 2 pair, and that would put a 6 down here. This cannot be a 6, though. This has to be less than this guy. Ah, so that's key. So that means there is a 6 in this sum somewhere. Because the 6 can't be in the circles, and it can't be next to this greater than sign. That makes a lot of sense, though. So we already had to 6, so we need another 6 through 9. 6, 7, 8, or 9. I don't know what to do with that. Is there more I can do? Maybe this is more interesting right now, because we know these add to at least 11, right? If we do 1 and 1, that would be 11. And, you know, if these are double 6, they add to it. Oh, and this can't be a 6 because it's next to our greater than sign. So the max this could be is 5, and the max this can be a 6, and that adds to 11. So I should have started here. That's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 4. Because this is 4, this has to be minimized to 1, 2, 3, and then this is the 6. That's not a 3. So that can't be a 6, meaning the ones next to it are up to 4. That can't be 3, and that can't be 3 or 4. Okay. So we just got a bunch of stuff. This, let's see, that's not 5. This has to be bigger than 5, so that it has to be 6. That places 6 in this box down here. So that's not a 6, meaning these are from 1 through 4. I'm shamelessly marking, so that puts the 6 here. And then now we know the 6 on this line ends up right there. Okay, and 6s are done. All right. So we know this is 1 and 1. I didn't even get that far yet. I had made that deduction, but then there was a bunch of cascading from just the 5, 6. All right, so we get the 2 and the 3 and the 1 here. We get the 2. These aren't 2s. It's not a 2. 4, 5. This is for the column 3, 5. Oh, 3, 5 for the column means that can't be the 5. So the 5's down here. This is a 4. This is a 1. So this is 2 for the box. We can clear out this 5. 3, 4 pair means that's a 2 and that's a 5. These two digits are a 1 and a 4. The 3, 4 pair tells us that's one. That, oops, sorry, misclick. That's a 4. This is a 1. Let's do as much Sudoku as we can before we finish this guy. For some reason, I thought this would be the restricted one, but it was this. That was a bit more. Yeah, the fewer cells you have to work with, the more restricted it is. I should have realized that. Anyway, it's my first time doing the constraint. That's a 5. This is 2, 3, and 4. Let's just mark it out. That's not a 2. So that's a 3, 4 pair. So this has to be the 5. I'm sure we'll figure this out in a second. That's 3 and 5. This is 3, 4, making this a 2. Okay, and then this row finishes with a 2, and this is a 3, 4. So we have to resolve these 3, 4s using this line. So this already adds to 11. So if we did 11 plus 3, that would be 14, and that would be a 4, that would work. If we did 11 plus 4, that would be 15, and we couldn't do that. So yeah, it's 11 plus 3, and everything else works out. Nice. Cool. Nice puzzle, Palfly. Really interesting use of these lines and a nice introduction to how you're supposed to think about them, which I did backwards, which I think is fine. It was fun to think about this before we had enough info. All right. I made some interesting deductions, I think. All right. And nice use of the maximum lines to restrict out 6s. Sorry, maximum lines, maximum cells to restrict out 6s. I think that was clever too. All right. Well, let me know how you did. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.